So, good afternoon, everybody. I welcome you all to NextGen Chemicals and Petrochemical Summit 2022, Day 2. And we have a very interesting session after lunch, which is Paints and Coatings, the next growth frontier. Let me just give you a brief backgrounder. The market size of the global paint and coatings is expected to rise from $167 billion in 2022 to $235 billion by 2029 at a CAGR of 5%. Asia Pacific is expected to dominate the global paints and coatings market share due to increasing construction activities and rising government initiatives in developing countries. If we talk about the Indian paint and coating industry, worth $8 billion, also expected to grow steadily in the short and medium term on the back of strong growth in the Indian economy. Compared to the global average of 13 to 15 kgs per capita consumption, India's per capita consumption of paint is just 4.1 kgs. In FY 2019, despite the huge size of the market, thus, there is an immense opportunity for the domestic market to grow in the long term. The market for Indian paints and coating is expected to expand at a CAGR of 8.6, around 9% during the next 7 to 8 years. And the growth is propelled by demand in smaller cities at a faster pace than metro and tier 1 cities. The entry of new operators, Grasim Industries, JSW, and expansion by Indigo Paints and Shalimar Paints and Asian Paints is bound to change the Indian paints and coating industry in days to come. With this backgrounder, let me introduce our moderator, Mr. Tej. So, Mr. Tej Dailani, founder Organica Solutions. Till recently, he was with Clarion. He's the founder of Organica Solutions, is a professional with 35 years of rich experience in the field of inks, coating, dispersion, detergents, and with expertise in business restructuring strategy, vast experience across various business functions such as sales and marketing, production, new product development, and value selling concepts. He has led various functions in the field of pigments, specialty chemicals, and polymers. Last held position was at Clarion India as head of strategic projects and worked at Clarion for 25 years. So with this background, I hand over this session to Mr. Tej Dailani, founder Organica Solutions, and the topic is paints and coatings, the next growth frontier. I would request him to finish the session by 3:15, which is 15:50. Thank you, sir, and over to Mr. Tej Dailani.
Yeah, thanks, Praveen, for a very nice introduction. Thanks a lot for it, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to be presenting our thoughts and views on paints and coatings, the next growth frontier. Dear audience, it's very important for me to first start introducing our very key elite speakers. I would start with Mr. Ashok Kumar Genji. He is currently the Managing Director of Acro Paints Limited, a medium-sized paint manufacturer of architectural and specialized paints with major presence in northern India. Mr. Ashok Kumar Genji is a postgraduate in business management and has done courses in paint technology. He has over 40 years of experience in manufacturing and marketing of paints and has widely traveled the world over for enhancing business relations. He has also been associated with many industry and government forums to further take up the cause of paint SME units, and is a past president of IPCA, which is the Indian Paint and Coating Association. Welcome, Ashok Kumarji. Next, I would like to introduce a very famous person also, Mr. Nirav Raveshia, who is the chairman and managing director of NR Colors Limited. He is a BSc graduate with diploma in business management and also pursued his studies further in masters in marketing management, which is MMM. He is actively involved in business since 1985 and having over 35 years of experience in the paint fraternity. He is a committee member of Color Society, past president of ISPA, member of Bureau of Indian Standards for Paints and Allied Industries, member of IPA, Indian Paint Association, convener of many paint conferences, and very actively involved in industry representations at Central Insecticide Board. So welcome, Nirav.
Thank you,
The
sir.
third gentleman, very key gentleman, is also Mr. Sagar Goel. He is graduated with a degree in commerce from Sriram College of Commerce and then pursued his MBA. He is the managing director of Orele Rubbers Private Limited, one of the largest distributors in paints, coatings, and construction chemicals in northern India. Following his belief that entrepreneurship is about solving problems of others first, he put ethics and professionalism on top, which is very highly appreciated, sir. Actively involved in business over 30 years, which means 3 decades of industry experience. He is currently the president of IPCA, which is the Indian Paint and Coating Association, a very active philanthropist, being on the boards of several education and religious institutions, and also involved in a lot of CSR activities. And his company has adopted the Aditya Public School, located at Sri Krishna Gaushala in Delhi, which provides education to 120 children. He is also a trustee of the Maharaja Agrasein Hospital in Delhi. Really very much appreciation, Sagarji, and welcome to this conference. Our esteemed fourth speaker is Mr. Paresh Sakalkar. He is the General Manager, Sales and Supply Chain, with a total industry experience in paints and coatings for 24 years, heading sales and marketing activities of Saujanya Colors, catering to more than 400 customers in India and 49 different countries across the globe. Also taking care of strategic sourcing and a new vendor development. So I'm sure the audience would be glad to see we have got speakers who have more than 4 decades, 3 decades, 2 decades of experience. And I'm sure that this entire conversation and of the conference would definitely be helpful to all of you all. I would like to say that, this session will surely discuss and explore the possibilities to enhance the potential and scale new heights in the paint fraternity, in the paint industry. What we would be doing here is that there are 3 key points which we would like to discuss amongst ourselves and also with the audience. That is, what is the current status and opportunities of paints and coating industry? The second one, the most important, which are the key challenges, which means which are the pain point with us, and what would be the best possible solution to come up. If we have always seen, that the paint industry is growing year upon year. There are a lot of challenges, but I'm sure the manufacturers and the customers are all in line to grow and make this industry grow to much bigger heights. As on date, as rightly said by Praveen, the market size is roughly around 62,000 crores. I still feel that, there is a lot to do. There is a lot which can be done. And these deliberations will be very important. Just a thought to the audience and a stuff that what we would be doing is that we would be continuing this talk maybe for about 50-55 minutes. And then post, which for the last 10 to 15 minutes, we will definitely take the questions and the queries from the audience, and I'm sure the panelists and the speakers would like to give their further thoughts and inputs on the same. So here I would start with Mr. Nirav Ravesha. What do you feel about the current status and opportunities? Yeah.
Tej, just an important announcement. There is no Q&A as such.
Okay.
So you can devote that time for the panelist.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. Yeah, thank you, Praveen, for it.
Okay.
So maybe I'm requesting Mr. Niravji to start. What does he feel and share his thoughts about the current status and opportunities of the paints and coating industry?
Thank you very much for firstly Indian Chemical News to invite me as a panelist on this forum, and thank you, Tej, for heading this panel. It's a great pleasure seeing all the friends whom we are working together for last few decades. Welcome you all, and welcome you all the people who are live today. We are here to discuss the status of paint and coating industry. And my view here comes as, this is a land of opportunity in paint and coating industry. And this is the time to be in this segment. I am very bullish about the future of this segment. primarily because I have been making presentations at every forum in last 5 years that there is a CAGR growth of 15% in coating industry. And this was just the beginning of the growth story. In India, if you see, the coating segment has got immense opportunity. Look at the balance sheets of all the large companies. Look at their growth stories. And look at the bottom lines and growth stories of SME segment. Ashok Kumar Gainde is a live example for us. He came to the business and he grew this business. He could grow this business because there was a booming market and a big opportunity, and he positioned himself in a small niche where he has very good growth. This is the story with most of the paint companies. Look at any large company for that matter, which is today listed companies. Look at their growth stories. And let me tell you, Tej, that paint and coating, why is this growth there? Till now, the economy was having a lot of problems. The money supply to the SME sector was limited. Now it is not so. There are banks openly lending, and the great support came from the MSME ministry and the Ministry of Finance during the COVID time, particularly when our industry, our SME sector people got, the emergency relief fund during this COVID from the banks, which was availed by all the units who were registered with the Ministry of Industry, MSME. And they got 20% of their existing exposure, which was there with the banker. And this actually helped them sustain and grow up, during the COVID time. There are challenges. There are short-term challenges. There are long-term challenges. There is capacity building, which has happened in this country in a big way. Why are large houses looking at paint segment? And let me tell you that they also see that this is a country where the growth story has just started. The government has started investing billions of dollars, or sorry, I should talk in rupees, lakhs and crores of rupees, which are being invested today in infrastructure. You see, one big opportunity today is road marking paint. The roads are made, these are road marking paints to be there, and every year these roads have to be again painted for lane identification. And this is going to be a huge market. This is just one tip of the iceberg. Housing sector. The way the government has lended to this housing sector, the housing sector is where the SME sector is. I would like to make a special comment naming the person who is considered to be, a very senior fatherly figure in the paint industry. I had met him once, and he told me that the large companies, this was a statement by Mr. Bharukaji, who was the ex-vice chairman of, Kansai Nerolac Paints. He made a statement that large companies can never identify market segments, Sorry. The market segments are basically identified by the SME sector, and they follow them. And that is how they invent a new customer. So I will tell you, lot of large paint companies and small paint companies are today looking at niche markets, niche products. Do you know SME sector supplies material for aircraft coatings and coatings for missiles, which are manufactured in India under the Made in India project? We don't know that these are the people who are there in such niches. I am working with the SME sector. More than 3,500 paint units are there, but the media and all the publicity which comes is only to these large companies. Of course, they have that money muscle to project themselves. and we respect and appreciate that. But you see how the SME sector is also positioned. And you see how the growth story is going hand in glove. You know, today I asked somebody, where is the new paint factories coming up? All large dealers in all the districts of India have their own paint manufacturing sector. Now, this is something, you know, which these people are driving the growth district level. Large companies are forced to go to rural market. And you are seeing everybody is investing in infrastructure. Look at the job opportunity. Amazing. Look at the growth coming from this segment. This construction industry is driving the economy. And I would give full credit to the MSME ministry, the finance ministry, and the then finance minister, Sri Arun Jaitley ji, Dr. Kirit Somaiya, past member of parliament from Mumbai. We represented at Indian Small Scale Paint Association with Government of India saying that 28% duty on paints is criminal. We will all vanish out of this map. And the Government of India, especially the MSME Ministry and the GST Council, recognize this, that there are more than 3,500 to 4,000 manufacturers who will be hit badly. And look at the speed at which government responded to this. See, this growth happens only when there is support from the government. And I will tell you, I am seeing this industry growing, same 15% CAGR coming 10 years minimum coming 10 years. So this industry, as rightly said, at 60,000 crores. Now you put in the figure stage, and at the end of this, our discussion, but after 10 years, what will be the volume or the growth in this segment? This is what I want to drive to. A land of opportunity India is. What happened in China 10, 15 years back? The growth story has just started. Growth story has just started, you know. We have so many smart cities in pipeline, so much of infrastructure coming into this country, so much billions of dollars are flowing in. And when construction will happen, it will have to be painted. And paint is not one-time job, construction is one-time job. So we have a recurring product demand every 3 to 5 years. So do not forget, there are two types of demand in India. One is the virgin demand, which comes from new constructions, and other is the recoatability. India is considered to be a semi-developed country. So 50% of the market comes from the recoating market, and 50% of the market comes from, you know, the virgin market, the new constructions, the new projects, and both sides are booming. Look at the automobile sector, the number of automobiles are produced in India. So I have given a lot of food for thought to our viewers also, and I have given a lot of information, and this is how I set the ball rolling. Now I would request all my other panelists to give their views about. I am extremely bullish about the India growth story, and particularly the paint industry, and particularly the MSME paint segment. The way you have seen Indigo, MSME company, emerging more than 1,000 crores. So how this happened? So MSME, you saw there are some companies, a lot of companies in South India. There are a lot of large companies coming up looking for acquisitions in MSME, and few are successful to do that. So why is this happening? This industry has been till now profitable, demand-oriented, but require tremendous skill. It cannot be done like any other investor can come and invest. You require some experience. That is why JVs will work and not just acquisitions. This is my submission. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Nirav. I think excellent. You really have set the ball rolling. It's becoming more and more exciting. And I was just looking at the figure, that the per capita consumption from 4 or 4.1, whatever we say, and definitely we have a chance to grow much more and consume much more because there is a lot of market. Yeah.
Take just one more point to add. This 4.1 happened in how much time? This 4.1 till last 5-7 years back, we all were talking of India per capita consumption 1.5 kg.
1.5, yes.
Yes,
And in last 3 years, it has 3 to 5 years, it has grown from 1.3 to 4.1. Yes.
So
Yes.
this is the growth in just last probably 1 decade, which is coming into this country.
Yes.
So
Absolutely right.
that is why I am saying it is a bullish market.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so now thanks Nirav once again, and Paresh, we would like to hear your thoughts and feedback from your own perspective.
Yes.
All
Good
yours,
afternoon. Good afternoon to all the audience, and thank you, Tej, for introducing me and setting up the tone for the discussion. As rightly said by Mr. Nirav, this is the fastest growing economy in the world, the Indian paint industry, and there is an immense opportunity. It is creating a lot of job opportunities, and like FMCG sector, the Indian paint industry is also getting more and more exposure and growth, of course, in coming 10 years, like we have witnessed from the last 2 decades, the industry is growing at double-digit growth, and same will continue for next 10 years. So a lot of opportunities, all the sectors, not only architectural, but even industrial sections like powder coating, coil coating, wood finishes, auto refinish, or automobile industry is also growing at same pace. So overall, all sectors of Indian paint industry are growing. So I would like to talk about the current trends. What are the customer expectations? The customers are more and more demanding the high performance coatings. People are demanding the durability, like warranties of 10 and 15 years. Then good waterproofing properties or anti-dust, anti-algal properties, high sheen. So these are the demands. Then green products are more and more in demand. Like government is from health and safety point of view, government is promoting APU free product or low VOC product. And in 2016, did led legislation come in picture. So now all the successfully, all the paint companies successfully implemented lead-free products less than 90 ppm, and the pigment manufacturers played a very good role in offering the alternate solutions, the lead-free pigments or hybrid pigments. So now all the paint manufacturers in architectural segments have complied to the government norms of less than 90 ppm, and the next next trend is low VOC or zero VOC paints. So a couple of large paint companies in India have already implemented low VOC paints, and I'm proud to say that Saujanya Color is their coloring partners, and we have worked collaboratively with those companies for implementing low VOC paints. And in next 5 years, I think that will be a new normal. All the paint companies will move to zero VOC paints. So the shift from regular paints to low VOC paint is the trend for next 10 years. And apart from the requirements from the paints, there are certain regulations for wets and measure or legal department, which is like associations like ISPA, IPCA or IPA have successfully helped their members to implement all those requirements of legal metrology. And new requirement that is coming from the government is plastic waste management. That is the new. All the decorative paints are packed in plastic containers, With immediate effect, government has implemented like single-use plastic should be banned, and later on reuse of plastic containers or recycled material. Those like that this thing will come in next 1 or 2 years.
Yep. Thanks, Paresh, for your good feedback. My one question to you is this: when you talked about the requirements of your end customers, for a very high durable coatings, or for long lasting coatings,
Yes.
which is for about 10 years, 15 years.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure they may be also for the high rise towers. We have got a lot of towers which are coming up, and it's very difficult to repaint them on a very quite regular frequency basis. So, I mean, are the suppliers prepared for it, to give you, these products as such? Maybe this is not a real big demand, but I'm sure that this is a demand which will be now coming up
Yes.
on and off. So, what is your feedback on this particular part?
The paint industry has already geared up. They have formulated their paints to meet these requirements. And even the pigment manufacturers are coming up with high performance pigment like mixed metal oxides, which can give you, the guarantee of 15 years. Then iron oxide pigments are of course there, but apart from that, very highly durable mixed metal oxide pigments are now available. Yeah, those can give 10 to 15 years warranty.
Yeah. Another small thing is that you are also, I saw, your experience, you are now catering to a lot of customers and which are even going on an export view. We just spoke some time back, and you also mentioned that you have been visiting to abroad customers and companies. Are they happy with the Indian suppliers, or how do they regard the Indian suppliers from the paint? Are we well geared to their requirements and their whatever they need from our end?
Yes, now Europe market as such is not doing very well, and there are supply issues from US as well. So, and with the lockdown in China, Indian suppliers have good opportunities, and our quality is at par with the European qualities. That is what I have. All the pigment manufacturers or paint manufacturers can produce equally good quality as European companies. Like we have to improve the packaging or the presentation of the product is something where we are lacking. Otherwise, quality of paint as such is at par with the European quality.
Yeah, good.
And they are looking at India. They are looking at India as a big hub for sourcing all their requirements of raw materials for paints and even the finished paints. Yeah. So Indian even small scale industry has a lot of opportunity for exporting their products in countries like Africa or emerging markets.
Yeah. So as Nirav said, there is always a chance of growing. If you see now, as we are getting more feedbacks and inputs from others, there is surely a chance of good growth and a good opportunity. So thanks, Paresh, for your very good inputs and very, very nice. And I would request Mr. Ashok Kumar Genji to provide his valuable feedback. And for me, I always appreciate, sir, 40 years, 45 years is a long time in the industry, and you seem to be a real big veteran. And thanks a lot for joining in, sir. All yours, Ashokji.
Thank you, Tej. And thank you, Nirav and Paresh. Nirav, for a very very enlightening and a very energetic talk. And he's my mood has been elevated, and he's injected me with more vigor to grow more rapidly and more in a big way. See, Nirav, starting with Nirav's presentation, I fully agree with him. There is and there has been, like he says, the CAGR has been growing at 15% for people, and everybody has benefited from that. I can see all SMEs, all small scale and large scales. I have seen them growing. I have seen them flourishing And I have seen the same facilities they are enjoying, I have seen like the MDs of big companies are enjoying all the luxuries and everything. And the same luxuries are being enjoyed by our fellow men in SMEs, So but the threat is there, we were at one time, we were at 50-50, it was 50% in for market was with the SME and 50% was with large. And it was at my time, I very vividly remember, it was 45 for large. Now, coming to the present times, it is about 70, more than 70%, and some says it is 72% with the large scale. And they are growing at much larger pace, like they are looking for units, they are looking for smaller and medium units. Today, Nirav said they are out there hunting for companies, just to take this inorganic growth, with them. Now, again, coming to other point, you see, US is saturated, and somebody, Paresh has just mentioned that Europe, the demand is subdued. These places are saturated now. They are looking at developing countries like India. They are looking at 130 crore people and a burgeoning middle class of about 15 crore people with a per capita income of you can just say it is about 5 lakh rupees. So these people have started having good amount of money, and the source of income has doubled. Even the husband and wife is also doing, and in a family, 2-3 people are also bringing in money. So the lifestyle change is going to happen, and it is happening. And paint, though it is an essential, but they consider in India, they consider it as a luxury. And even if they take it as a lifestyle thing, it is growing. So he said, as Nirav also pointed out, 1.5 per capita consumption has grown to 4.1, and it is about 5 years. Just think how much, what is the pace? It has nearly doubled in 4 to 5 years. And just see how is it going to grow geometrically now. Yesterday I was talking to you that if Nirav would remember that in Bangalore IPA, there was a study presented that in the Indian this thing, we are going to have a 2.5 lakh crores worth of industry in 2028, 29. And biggies, they were even surprised to note that what are you presenting? You are talking about from 40,000, it is going to go to 2.5. Is it a joke? So then this was told that when roti kapda makan is taken care of, then lifestyle grows geometric. So this is what is happening right now. And as he said, 15%, 14%, 13% CGR, it is exactly that. It has become a saying. GDP into 2 is the growth of paint industry, and it has been. So now you see, coming to US is saturated, Europe is saturated, China has literally, God has been unkind to them. And you see, the only China was growing, and along with China, India was growing. Now it is India is the only hope for the world. And we are to be we should feel very lucky to be in India at this present moment and having this sort of an opportunity to grow. If so, like the case of Indigo, and see, I have been a very champion of niche since I've joined business. So we have in our business, for my example, I have placed very heavy bets on niches, and we have really made money. I want, this is not two things about niches gives you 4 to 5 times profits than the common Me Too products, and you can't fight with biggies in the general products. So yes, Indigo could they focused on niches and they profited. And today the market capitalization goes to about 7,000 crores for Indigo. So again, you see, export, like Mr. Paresh said, export is a very good opportunity. In India, if price parity is in favor of India, whatever we get in India for $1, if I say, the same thing is in Europe or US for $2. If I will emphasize that sales are, the sale price is 1:3. Somewhere in Middle East, it is 1:2. So there is a huge opportunity for us to export and benefit from that, this difference, Then we have, you see, I was very impressed by that book, Blue Ocean Strategy. And all of us have emphasized to, like Mr. Neerav said about Mr. Baruka's observation, that small companies identify the market segments and biggies exploit them. So we ought to follow this Blue Ocean Strategy thing and find segments and milk them in 2-3 years time, and then make them a Me Too product. And again, keep on doing that R&D on niches. You see, it's a very easy thing. The only solution today is you study the successful models, you study the successful SME units who have progressed in the world. Study their business case study. Study how have they grown, and simply emulate that model. Yeah, that is where you simply emulate the model in today's time. Just in today's time. So that is a very big inspiration. That is a very easy on the plate knowledge. And of course, as somebody said, knowledge and expertise in niches will give you good profits and will make you big. So these are some of the observations that I have made, that for the growth of SMEs in particular. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashok Kumar Genji. It's very nice. I think very interesting. Some new stuff which you gave, which everybody, I do not know about it. And you rightly said GDP into 2 is the growth of paint companies. Not many people would know about it. So it's a very, very interesting equation, the way it goes and how the paint industry grows. So which is very nice. And I agree with you that over a period of time, okay, the large companies naturally will definitely want to grow. So they have grown, but then as you rightly said, there is always a good opportunity even for the SMEs to also grow. And if you really look into your stuff, and if you are smart and intelligent enough, you definitely can do a much better growth of your segment. And a smart mover advantage always helps. Yeah. So thanks, Ashok Kumar ji, for a very nice stuff. Now I would move into Sagar ji's inputs. We would like to have his inputs, Sagar ji, from your side. And I think you are also doing a lot of raw material supplies to the industry. So what is your feedback? Would like to know about your feedback from your side. All yours, Sagar ji. Yeah. Sagar ji, are you there? Yeah, maybe he'll come back. Just let's wait for a second. I'm sure he'll join back immediately or so. So it's nice, I think. So, just like to, if he's back.
Till the time Sagar comes online, I would like to add something here,
Please.
See, today we have talked about, the growth story. But what are the difficulties in this industry is we need to also touch upon that. If you see, a very large percentage of, raw material comes from, Sagar is here now. Let Sagar continue. No? Yeah. And I will take this after in the available.
He's there, Sagarji. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Sagar, can you hear? Are you there connected?
No,
Just let's wait for a second.
he's not.
No, he'll come. Just wait. Maybe I think so he's traveling a little bit, so I'm sure he'll get the network back.
Should I continue till then, or you want to wait for him?
Just give 10 seconds. If not, then you can continue. Not an issue. Just give him 10 seconds.
Fine.
I'm sure the audience is having
he is again disconnected. So let us.
You can continue. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, please.
See, today in the paint industry, if you see the percentage raw material of local production and import production, there is a huge disparity in this. India has been a net importer of crude. So all crude derivative products we are dependent on this particular raw material imports. Then comes, if you see the imports for pigments, particularly titanium dioxide, which is one of the largest consumption product, is hardly made in India. Yeah, as far as I understand, estimated market size for titanium dioxide in India is around 5 lakh tons per annum, and the local production is only 50,000 tons. Based on this, if you see what is almost, you can say, more than 85 to 90% of the country's demand is met by imports, and this is the biggest negative point. And yes, people have started adding capacity. We have Make Money Organics Limited coming up with a 60,000 ton plant, but these all plants take a lot of time, to set up and go on online to deliver to the market. So this is one area where our Indian manufacturers need to identify as an opportunity and probably try and add capacity. Then comes the monomer production. See, water-based is today almost 70% of the country's production. And if you go by this, 70% of our production, now with this 70% of decorative paint, the monomers are 100% imported. I will tell you, today, the only monomer producer which is just emerged in India, this butyl acrylate, is manufactured by BPCL. Now, BPCL adding capacity, and if he is able to produce regularly this product, then this industry will slowly, move to self-sufficiency of our local raw materials. So today we have 2-3 disadvantages. Our percentage import in formulation is very high. Second, the capacity addition to this import is very slow, and this is where the thrust should come. We are seeing a lot of paint companies, multinational paint companies coming to India, trying to manufacture. And if you see the net import of these large paint companies, is very high. So actually, if you see, paint industry is a foreign exchange drainer, I would say, because today this is a serious point which the industry should itself address this. Because if today our consumption in percentage terms in raw material is so high that we will not be able to, deliver to there is a large forex outgo from our country. Then comes, I would make a very controversial statement, but I think people should understand this. And I will live with that controversy because I own it also. Because if this is what is actually happening in India, there are a lot of NGOs which are active trying to, push this green chemistries in India. Understand, paint industry is highly compliant today as far as VOCs or effluents is concerned, or even for that matter, all sorts of hazards have been well taken care by this industry. There is hardly any loose end where you will see, the industry is not compliant. But then there is so much of pressure on the government due to these NGOs that, they have started moving so rapidly away and moving to the European style of operation. See what happens in Europe with these legislations which they have put in reach. These are good for long term, but we cannot just jump over to European legislations in India and start producing the paint as per the European legislation. This is where government has to intervene and look at a long-term strategy so that we will comply. We are compliant today, and we should ensure that this NGO interference and blackmailing to the industry should stop. There are some decisions taken by government, lead-free paints. Very good, sir. Where is the infrastructure to test lead content in paints? The industry itself has disciplined themselves, and they have themselves, moved away from lead-based paints.
Correct.
So this is a voluntary step which is taken by the industry. But if you see the infrastructure for this type of testing, there are people are trying to push, reduction of biocides in paint formulation. One side you want to make, the customer demand is the paint should last for 10 years, 15 years. And the other side, you say that, your formulation should be so watertight that, your paint should perform for 15 years. No, it is not possible like that. It is impossible.
Yes.
In Europe today or in US today, understand one thing. There are legislation for recoating, repainting their houses, repainting their... I will give a classic example. Go to Dubai. Dubai is a state or a country where if you rent a house and if you want to, your rent is for 2 years. Once your rent agreement expires, you have to compulsorily repaint the house and then extend your lease of this. See, they have got that type of legislations. Where is the legislation here? You see a structure outside your own house. You live in a tower building and look out and see, how many structures are unpainted. There is occupation certificate given only when the building is painted. But after that, is it safe? Is there not deterioration? So these legislations have to be reworked out, in consultation with the industry. These are some controversial points. Will bureaucrats or government officers or even large paint companies will not like to answer these questions, But this is very important because from the consumer point of view, one side we are talking low VOC. Yes, we want as an SME sector also to be very compliant with this. But where is the legislation supporting this, and why these legislations are brought without creating infrastructure? Just on the pressure of these NGOs who are trying to, just plant news in media. This is not the way to work in a democracy. So I have serious objections to this type of, implementation. Take industry hand in glove. We have to go to ministries every time whenever something is happening like this and explain to them. Only the NGO should not be heard or only the large company should not be heard. We are also 45% of production in this country for the paint industry. And there you go and see, today I am making one more very controversial statement. Go to BIS Committee of Paints and just check the number of members there. How many multinationals are driving your formulations or your standards? All trying to create entry barriers, and this needs to be addressed. Praveen ji, I know in your program, this is not going to be very well appreciated by your by your board, but these are some questions we should boldly take up at this type of forums. And if we don't take it up, the larger number of people who are here, they should also understand that there are some goods and bads also in this industry. So this is very important for everybody to take it in a positive sense, not in a negative sense. I am not trying to criticize people. I am trying to put forward a word that there needs to be a caution when you bring legislation or restriction on the industry. We are more compliant than any other European or American company today. This is voluntarily done by the industry, and this is done primarily because the large multinationals want us to do, and we as patriotic Indian want to see that our formulations are compliant with any other international standard. I think I have gone a little fast.
Yeah, Nirav,
it might be very difficult to address this, but this opportunity I wanted to express, myself here. Yeah.
No, Nirav, it's okay.
Sir, just a small thought, Tej sir. We are very open, and see, unless and until we freely discuss something, we will not be able to solve the problem. अगर हम दबे आवाज में बोलेंगे तो आवाज ही नहीं पहुंचेगी.
सही बात.
दबे आवाज में नहीं बोलना है, हमें करना है और आगे बढ़ना है. That should be our philosophy, and we also represent a part of the industry. We are also the voice of the industry. Whatever you suggest, we will definitely go ahead and do that. Don't worry about that, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Praveenji, and to you, Nirav, see, I appreciate whichever is each one individual has his or her own issues and the way to speak, and I'm happy that Praveenji said, yes, it is there. It is to be taken up positively because anybody could have any issues, and it is to be brought up. My own personal experiences, I have been a part of many of the industry representations, and honestly, to tell you, we always have been successful in talking to the government authorities. And believe me, I was very happy to see that a lot of changes, and they have agreed to most of our stuff, which is a nice thing. So things are moving, things are changing over. It's the way you speak, the way you go, and I'm sure, and you have been also a part of a lot of industry. We have been together for some of the stuff, and then it works also in the positive mood. So thanks a lot. It's understandable, whatever is there, and it is also giving the audience a thought process of what's happening and what best can be done. In the interest of every company, people will be doing their stuff. Yeah. So Paresh, just wanted to take your views on this particular part. That what are the pain points which you as a company and in your areas of operations, what do you really feel about it? Yeah.
Yeah, particularly last the post-COVID, the availability of raw materials and the cost are the real concern areas. Particularly, Mr. Nero said, almost 80% of the materials used in the paint formulations are imported, and the lead times, which were earlier, between 45 and 60 days, have now gone to 90 and 120 days, and the cost have increased almost in the range of 20% to in some cases 100%. So it is really difficult. From we are not getting price increase from the customers. It is very difficult, and there are pressures on the margin, and servicing orders has also become difficult because of the availability of raw materials. So as fast as possible in Indian industry, our manufacturers should should be self-sufficient for the key raw materials. Like we should think of producing the raw materials in India itself, so that we can be cost competitive, and then we can produce the product on time and service the customers in time. So availability of raw materials and the margins or cost pressures are the pain areas in last couple of years, and I think this trend will continue for another year also.
What about shipment? What about shipment? Say something, because if you are importing or you are exporting, yes, I'm sure you will be also having issues on the shipment part.
Shipment is the logistic cost has increased considerably, almost 3 times. So in some cases the the freight cost is more than the product cost.
Yes.
So we are finding it difficult to export our products. Like then the customer would prefer to buy locally. So there is a loss in terms of the exports, and even the lead times. Like if we are supplying to some far countries, it takes almost 60 to 90 days, and the availability of vessel is also
Yes.
not there. So it has further, the lead time has further increased. So there also we have, got a hit on exports, but
Absolutely.
somehow we are managing, and the growth is still there, and we can see a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
in
Whatever
overseas
I
market.
understood is now slowly at least the container availability is becoming better,
Yeah,
and
easing
even the
up, yes.
costs are coming down
Yes.
logistically.
But
Even the
it
container,
will not go
the
to the
shipping cost.
original level,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
definitely those are coming down. The things are
At least
easing out
some
a
form
little
of
bit.
thing.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Ashok Kumarji, what some feedback from your side on the pain points? Sir, you're on mute, sir. Sir, you're on mute. You need to unmute. Yeah.
Teji, I fully subscribe to what Nirav said. In fact, we are feeling the pain, in all the affairs of our operations, because of these big companies. They are purposely putting hurdles in our operations in a way that they are insisting on such absurd things like he just mentioned this thing PPC, this thing ppm, and this thing lead, and this thing. You see 90 ppm, 90 ppm, and it includes water, and even the water has more ppm of this thing. And how do you cope up with that is what we are coping up. Now, what they're doing is they are managing things in their big plants and with their facilities, and it becomes very difficult for SME unit to comply with these absurd, really absurd legislation. Some of the very this thing. Like Nirav said it again, that on one side, the public wants performance of 5, 7, 10, and 15 years. And on the other side, you are restricting the usage of biocide. That now, this pollution control board. They are after SME in a very big way. So they have come up with under the this thing beneath the soil, in air and water, and the legislation is so harsh that you need huge sums of even to comply with those things. Not that you don't want to, but the investment becomes sometimes the investment is equivalent to our plant and machinery. So the investment goes beyond, sometimes it goes beyond the, so that in fact obstructs our growth. Not that we don't want to comply, but they sometimes purposely put it in such ways that it will only affect the SME people. So that needs to be placed before the government in a forum, So this is why I wanted because the pain points were
Ashokji, we can
such,
slightly hear you. Your bandwidth is low. Yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not too sure whether others can hear. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just check your bandwidth, and Sagarji is having some issues to join in again. He just spoke to me. I'm not too sure what is exactly wrong with him, but I think so. He's just trying to do this stuff. I want to know a little bit, from the foreign exchange currency, today the new vibe is this thing. So, Paresh, anything from your side, since you are also more into exports, the dollar, and the rupee, the stuff is becoming more. So what do you all do in such cases? Because this itself is also one of the major issues, because this increases the cost of the product as well.
Yes, particularly for on the imported products, the cost is has increased a lot. So we are trying to replace, many imported raw materials with the indigenous raw materials. Our R&D is continuously working on that. That is the only way we can, control the cost or bring down the cost to remain the competitive. Most of the raw materials we have replaced with indigenous, but there are certain raw materials where we don't have, option. But that is the only way that we can keep cost under control to formulate our products on indigenous raw materials.
Something from your side on, since you are into the tinting systems and
Yes.
stuff, so something you would like to say. Sagarji is online, so maybe you can just
Yes.
finish this question and then I'll go to Sagarji. Yeah. How is it? How is the business going? On the tinting systems, on the tinting machines and all. Is it good now? Is it really rapidly expanding in India and in other countries? Yeah. Paresh, I need your feedback.
Yes, I think in India, I think largest number of tinting machines is in India. More than 100,000 tinting systems are installed, either in the factory or depots or dealers outlet, or in the retail market, and in the even the industrial paints are now tinted on machines. Earlier they were factory tinted, but most of the large companies have moved to tinting system for solvent-based paints also.
Okay.
So it is growing,
So that
and
means, yeah.
yeah.
So there is a demand which is growing. So this is what I wanted to also say to everybody. Yes, there is a demand growth, and I think all of us are talking about the whole thing. Sagarji, you're come online. Thanks a lot for joining in again. Could you say something from a raw material perspective or your feedback on the paint industry?
Thank you,
Sagarji?
Teji.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Teji, and I heartily thanks to Prashantji for bringing us all together on such a beautiful platform. And Ashokji has given a very good perspective about the industry. That industry is on a very solid, rock solid growth path. And Neeravji has also set the ball rolling in a same way. And I really tell the situation of the raw material, which was previously in a very, bad state because of the due to the COVID situation, all the disruptions in the, supply chain. First, because of there was no shipment, containers was available, no supply chain was proper, and there was shutdowns in the factories across the globe, whether it is China or Europe or US. And thirdly, all the raw material was not available, whether it is additives or the intermediate products for any industry, whether it is plastics or for paints, solvents or additives. Now the situation is much better. Prices are coming down drastically because there is less demand as in Europe as well as in US. Because due to COVID, the US economy has supported in a big way. They have given a lot of subsidies, lot of incentives to the industry, and that money is consumed over there. So now the demand is less in those countries, and the supply situation is coming back to normal. So this is a good time for the paint industry, for the plastic industry, for everyone. And in coming days, in next 15-20 days, the supply situation will be much more easier. And I will also highlight that in India, lot of thanks to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He has brought so many changes from infrastructure to the manufacturing sector. Lot of manufacturing has been started in India, which was not there for the last, previous 15, 20 years. Because there's a lot of infrastructure has been built up and a lot of people around the world are keen to invest in India. So it is also supporting the Make in India initiative of our government. So you see, there was very little capacity of Penta was available in India. Now Perstorp has invested around 1,000 crores, putting up a world-class Penta plant in India. Yeah. Same is the phthalic. Phthalic capacity has been, expanded, and India is going to become the next net exporter of phthalic anhydride, which we were importing. So you will see the situation. The raw material side, India is going to be in a very, very good situation in the coming years. And down the line, coming 3 to 5 years, a lot of manufacturing is going to be seen. As you see in epoxy resins, first time in India, Make Money Organic has put up a plant for epichlorohydrin, which is a key raw material for epoxy resin. So the raw material situation is going good. And third, the demand for raw material for paints is increasing. As Ashokji and Nirav Bhai has said, the demand is increasing at the rate of 15% per annum, which is a mind-blowing demand. Seeing the demand, the Grasim has increased their investment from 5,000 crore to 10,000 crore in the paint business, as Estel has acquired Gem Paints. So a lot of action is seen in the industry. So I hope that it is a very good time and exciting time to do business in India in this segment, in the paint segment. And in this, thing, we are also have announced our biennial conference, which is going to happen on 16 to 18 September at JW Marriott, New Delhi. So you are all welcome and take the benefit of networking, because whoever, all the doyen of the paint industry is participating in this conference. This will be a very big biennial conference. You are all invited. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Akashji, for an excellent overview on the raw material, because this was what we wanted to, all of us wanted to hear. So at least whatever I can say, I would like to sum up and say that we can see that the paint market has got a lot of opportunities for growth, and maybe see challenges will be there in any business or in any stuff. But here it is in this business, we can see growth, we can see the challenges. And, we are looking also from a government perspective, as you rightly said, Sagarji, also that, yes, the government is also trying to help, trying to do as much best possible. Maybe not everything in one go, but step-by-step procedures are always there. And this really helps. And, we as an Indian citizen, we are also very happy to be here and then trying to take part and being in the business as such. Yeah. So I would really like to thank, all the key speakers. It's very nice of you. Nirav is there, Paresh is there, Ashok Kumar ji, and Sagar. And thank you, Praveen ji, for giving us this real opportunity to at least explain about the paint industry, paint fraternity, paints and coatings. The growth is there. And, we look at a very positive outlook in the coming years. And I'm sure it will make all of us happy. So this is from my side. And it's exactly 3:14, and I've kept my promise, Praveenji, to close it on time, and a very good feedback. Thank you, Praveenji, for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you moderated the session very well, Tej, and Tej Dailani, founder of Anika Solutions, and I saw a lot of enthusiasm. And they all spoke with passion, and I could see what we can say, they are still the same, what we can say, when they were in youth. So the same energy, the same vigor, everything could be seen. And I spoke, and whether it was Ashok Kumar ji, or whether it was Nirav ji, or whether it was Sagar ji, and Tej, who has taken a back seat and moved to a different territory altogether. But you all spoke very well. I would not have added more value because I have least experience. But I thought of providing a platform to all of you. We had also thought of getting the IPA guys, but they think that I am not a fit for them. So I and what we can say, the other association, which is the Indian Small Scale Paint Association, and Sagar Goelji's association, which is Indian Paint and Coating Associations. So we are on the same boat, sir. And whatever directions you give to us, we will try to reach to the other end and see that India achieve those numbers which you talked about, from say 1.5 to 4.1 in 3 years, so to 14 point numbers that we are talking about per kg in a year. So I will, with this, let me thank first of all the moderator, Tej Dailani, founder Organica Solutions, Mr. Ashok Kumar Gain, Joint Managing Director, Acro Paints Limited, Mr. Paresh Shakhalkar, General Manager, Sales and Supply Chain, Saujanya Color Private Limited, Mr. Sagar Goel, President, Indian Paint and Coating Association, Mr. Nirav Raveshia, past President, Indian Small Scale Paint Association. Just a small request, sir, you consider us to be also a part of this, and we will all attend your seminar, which you are planning to do in Aerocity, Sagarji. And whenever Nirav invites us, we will also attend his events also. Thank
Definitely,
you,
sir.
And namaste.
Thank you.